Looking back on Knox Jolie-Pitt's 17-year journey of growing up, one can glimpse both the radiance and the sorrow that marked the once dreamlike love story of Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. Knox was born out of the passionate love between Hollywood's most powerful couple and grew up amid the unforgettable milestones of one of the world's most famous families. Yet he also became a witness to the darker side of fame. When a love between parents falls apart, it is often the children who must bear the emotional scars that linger long after. Among all the Jolie-Pitt children, Knox may be the one most deeply affected by the historic divorce, for he was still too young when it happened, and his entire adolescence unfolded under the shadow of his parents' separation. And yet, from that very adversity, Knox has quietly emerged as a symbol of hope and healing. He did not choose rebellion or resentment as his response to pain. Instead, he moved forward, steadily, patiently, dedicating himself to personal growth and self-discipline. His calm demeanor and gentle nature, seen through his refusal to publicly harbor resentment and his steady participation in humanitarian work alongside his mother, offer a quiet but powerful message that wounds can heal when kindness is placed above anger. Knox has never made a declaration, yet his very existence as the final bridge connecting Brad Pitt to the family speaks volumes. It reminds us that the bond between father and child, no matter how strained, still holds a fragile thread of hope, one that can be restored if both sides choose compassion. If one looks back at the past, few could deny that the Jolie-Pitt family once stood as a global symbol of love and perfection. It was a time when every image, every gesture of theirs radiated a rare kind of energy. The energy of genuine affection, of deep connection, and of two people walking side by side through both art and life. In a Hollywood world so often consumed by scandals, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt once embodied the very idea of destined encounter. Two souls who came from entirely different worlds, but somehow found in each other the missing part of themselves. When Angelina met Brad on the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith in 2004, it was as though fate had quietly rewritten the script for them both. She was a woman who had weathered many storms, a traveler between darkness and light, torn between rebellion and the yearning for meaning. He was a man at the pinnacle of his career, once the archetype of classic Hollywood charm, yet burdened by a quiet loneliness he could never quite name. Their collision, which seemed at first to be a fleeting whirlwind, became instead the beginning of one of the most romantic yet turbulent chapters in entertainment history. Their love story soon transcended the boundaries of a typical Hollywood romance. It was built upon a profound harmony of worldview and purpose. Both shared a devotion to humanitarian values. Both were willing to step away from the spotlight to reach places where people truly needed help. Through their journeys of compassion to Cambodia, Ethiopia, and Namibia, their bond only deepened. They were not merely a famous couple. They were two human beings building a small world together, one founded on kindness, empathy, and shared conviction. As their children arrived one by one, Maddox, Zahara, Shiloh, Pax, and then the twins Vivienne and Knox, the Jolie-Pitt family became a living portrait painted with every color of life. They didn't just raise children, they nurtured a philosophy. Angelina once said, "I want my children to understand that love is an action, not a word." And Brad, ever the quiet presence, stood behind her with steadfast warmth, observing, supporting, and creating an unspoken sense of safety within their home. Whether photographed in France, Los Angeles, Africa, or on the Cannes red carpet, there was always a smile, a genuine smile, not a performance for the cameras. When Knox and Vivienne were born in 2008 in Nice, France, the world seemed to pause for a moment. It was not merely the birth of two children to a famous couple. It was a symbolic celebration of love fulfilled. Angelina once described Knox as the one who looks most like his father, while Vivienne carries her mother's heart and eyes. They came into the world at the height of everything. Brad and Angelina had just completed a string of successful films, were living in their Miraval chateau amid the French vineyards, and the media affectionately called them Brangelina, the most powerful couple on the planet. But no matter how things eventually fell apart, no one can deny that for nearly a decade, they were truly happy. That happiness was woven not from red carpets or magazine covers, but from the simplest moments of everyday life. Mornings spent having breakfast together on the porch, long trips taken just so the children could see how vast the world is, or the times when Angelina would cut Brad's hair by hand during the Italian summer. These are the moments that no camera could ever capture, Yet they live on vividly in their children's memories, especially in Knox, the quiet son who always watched everything in silence. In the years that followed, as the Jolie-Pitt family weathered storms, those memories became an irreplaceable source of strength. Amid legal disputes and hundreds of articles dissecting every detail of their lives, Knox chose silence. He said nothing, reacted to nothing, and never spoke publicly about either parent. Yet the perceptive could see that this calmness was not indifference. It was the essence of the love he once witnessed. For those who have truly known happiness also understand, more than anyone, the meaning of loss, and it is precisely that understanding which makes them value peace above all else. Looking back, the love between Brad and Angelina, though broken, left behind a remarkable legacy. 6 children, each strong and compassionate in their own way. Among them, Knox, with his father's features but his mother's tenderness, has become a living symbol of the intersection between two worlds that once loved each other deeply. He has grown up quietly, without declarations, without seeking validation through the media. Yet his maturity has become quietly compelling. Because in Knox's presence today, people can still glimpse a reflection of the golden Brangelina era, now tinged with the melancholy of things lost to time. One might say that if their marriage were a film, Knox would be the character who bridges its radiant beginning and its somber conclusion. He was born in the happiest chapter, grew up amid the turmoil, and now stands at the threshold of adulthood, where he must begin to write his own story. And perhaps, deep down, Knox understands better than anyone that love never truly disappears. It merely changes form, from passion to quiet understanding, from togetherness to mutual respect, from a presence under the same roof to a presence preserved in memory, in the best of what his parents once gave each other. That perhaps is what makes Knox Jolie-Pitt's journey so profoundly moving. It is not merely the story of a famous child, but a reflection of enduring lessons about family, forgiveness, and love. And when we look at Knox today, a tall, calm, reserved, yet always wearing that gentle smile reminiscent of his father, the public does not only see a younger version of Brad Pitt, they also see a quiet message carried through time. That no matter how completely things may fall apart, what was built from true love will always endure. Today, the story of Knox Jolie-Pitt, Angelina, and Brad continues to captivate the public, serving as a mirror reflecting the many faces of family life in show business. Within it lie the light of goodness, the shadows of division, and the faint glow of intertwined hope. Can time mend the fractures and bring the Jolie-Pitt family closer once again? As Knox steps into adulthood, he faces a defining choice: to maintain a safe distance or open the door to reconciliation with the father who was once so close. Whatever he chooses, his coming-of-age journey already carries a deep symbolic meaning in the aftermath of that divorce of the century, that in the end, family remains family. Broken pieces can be mended through love, and kindness, if nurtured long enough, is the truest key to overcoming pain.